this isn't the video I was planning to make, but something happened this week, which I'm going to go into more detail in my podcast, but suffice to say, I'm not in a good mood. I now have no time, and this is the best I can do. So, they announced the Game Awards, so I'm just going to go through and do my votes and tell you what I think should win in each category, and that's about it. I've done this before, but I did it as a podcast then. Doing it as a video this time because, like I say, I need a video this week, and I don't have time to make anything better. Hopefully this doesn't go too badly, but the website's been terrible so far. Every time I've clicked anything, it's taken multiple minutes to do anything. So there might just be hundreds of cuts throughout. Wow. Okay, right, I'll just start voting. I'm not looking at the nominees now. Did that do anything? Okay, I had to open it in a new tab. Right, starting with Game of the Year. I'm just, as a side note, actually no, I'm not. I am going to look at the categories, because as a side note, I hate the way this works. Why would you start from the most interesting thing and end at the least? Like, you build up to it, not work down. Right. Best esports team. We'll start with that. Please fucking work. This website is legitimately terrible. It's broken again already. View all categories. Nope. Every time I click Best Esports Team, it doesn't load. Exit voting. View all categories. Best Esports Team. Open it as a new tab. Right. Okay. Best Esports Team. I have no idea who any of these are. Do I like any of the games? Not especially. There's League, Valorant, Dota. What the fuck is Mobile Legends Bang Bang? And Counter-Strike 2. I honestly might give it to Mobile Legends Bang Bang just because what the fuck is that? I know I'm not voting for the game, but I don't care. Right. Next. Let's just open them all in different fucking tabs, and then I can just get rid of the tab when I'm done. And that way, I don't have to care if something breaks in a bit. This is gonna be a fucking nightmare to edit. Right. Best esports athlete. Ooh, do I know who any of these people are? No. Why has it signed me out? Oh my god, I hate this. It's not signed me out on every tab, just on some of them. Oh, it's just a legitimately terrible experience. Right. Now I can vote, but we can't see any pictures. This is a terrible fucking video. Rock, Chovy, Forsaken, Kakaru, Menard, and Zaiwu. Oh, actually, I think I've heard the name Zaiwu before. I think I might have heard Menard before as well. But we'll go with Menard, just because I like Street Fighter more. Cool, that one's done. Best esports game. At least we're talking about games this time. Counter-Strike 2, Dota 2, League of Legends, Mobile Legends Bang Bang again, and Valorant. Counter-Strike 2. I think it's the only one of those I own. Do I own it? I don't even remember. Great. Love it. Server error. That's my favourite category. What category is it supposed to be? Content Creator of the Year. Okay, let's reopen that in a new tab, see if it works this time. Holy shit. Yeah, I'm just not in the best of moods. And this is not helping. I guess we'll just skip around and see which tabs fucking load. Most anticipated game. 007 First Light, Grand Theft Auto 6, Marvel's Wolverine, Resident Evil Requiem, and The Witcher 4. Not played any of the Witcher games since the first, and even then I only played that for about 20 minutes. I'm not caught up with the actual current Resident Evil games. I only really play the remakes. Don't care about 007 First Light, to be honest. Don't really care about Grand Theft Auto 6. So, Marvel's Wolverine it is. Best Adaptation. Minecraft Movie, Devil May Cry, Splinter Cell Deathwatch, Last of Us Season 2, and Until Dawn. I've no interest in Minecraft Movie. I'm pretty sure I hate the showrunner for Devil May Cry. I've not watched, nor do I care to, Last of Us Season 2. I would like to play the second game first, and I just never did. I heard Until Dawn was pretty bad. And I think the only thing I've heard positive things about is Deathwatch, so let's go with Splinter Cell Deathwatch. Server error. That page never loaded. Best Sports Racing. ESports FC 26, F1 25, Mario Kart World, Rematch, and Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. That's surprisingly hard to say. Don't care about football. Don't really care about F1. Didn't like Mario Kart World. But it is the only one I've played, and usually that means I'd vote for it. If we're going by my usual rules, that's the one I have to vote for. If we're going by what I would probably rather win, probably Rematch actually, so let's do that. Okay, it's just spinning forever, don't care. Best Sim Strategy. Final Fantasy Tactics, The Evil East Chronicles, Jurassic World Evolution 3, Sid Meier's Civilization 7, Tempest Rising, The Alters, and 2 Point Museum. The only one of those I like is 2 Point Museum. Not actually played it, but I like the other 2 Point games. They're not spectacular, but I like them. So, we'll go with that one. When I say that, I mean like, I like 2 Point Hospital, but when I'm playing it, I wish I was playing Theme Hospital. Best Family Game. Basically the Nintendo category. Although, actually, fewer Nintendo games this year than I expected. Donkey Kong Bonanza, Lego Party, Lego Voyagers, Mario Kart World, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, and Split Fiction. Didn't play Donkey Kong, don't care about Lego, don't care about Lego, don't like Mario Kart World, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, or Split Fiction then? Split Fiction, just because I think Joseph Fares is cool. More server errors. Best RPG. I've played at least 2 of these, so that's good. Avowed, Clair Obscur Expedition 33, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Monster Hunter Wilds, and The Outer Worlds 2. I have only played Clair Obscur and Monster Hunter Wilds. I wouldn't even really say Monster Hunter Wilds is an RPG, and Clair Obscur is the best. I think it's the best of the options anyway, but it's also the only other one I've played, and I prefer it, so Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is. Best Action Adventure. Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, Ghost of Yotei, Hollow Knight Silksong, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and Split Fiction. Now, not Split Fiction or Indiana Jones, because I've not played either of those. So it's between Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yotei, and Hollow Knight Silksong. I can tell you straight away, it's not going to be Silksong. I still like it. I've spoken about this before. It's just not for me. Neither of them are. I really like the art and the music and the worlds, and hate actually playing them. and I also think they go on way too long. I was watching a video the other day from Vine Sauce, from Vinny, and he was saying that an ideal Metroidvania is like 15 hours, and I'm like, yeah, that's like perfect length. And the Silksong is just too long, and Hollow Knight's even worse. Anyway, Death Stranding 2 or Ghost of Yotei. They're both sequels, and I prefer the first game to both of them. Death Stranding 2 is great, but is also just more Death Stranding. I think I'm going to say Ghost of Yotei. I've got flaws with Ghost of Yotei, I've got issues with it, but at the same time, I think I generally enjoyed it more. Not necessarily enjoyed it more, I think it's a better story. Yeah, Ghost of Yotei. More server errors. Best VR AR. Alien Rogue Incursion, Arcane Age, Ghost Town, Marvel's Deadpool VR, and The Midnight Walk. I've not played any of these. Don't care about Alien, have no idea what Arcane Age is, have no idea what Ghost Town is, have no idea, don't really care about Marvel's Deadpool VR, and I don't know what The Midnight Walk is either. Have I heard of any of the people? I feel like I've heard of Fireproof Games before, but I think on a whim I'll go with The Midnight Walk because I like the art for it more. Will say I thought Deadpool was wearing a Santa hat at first. Wasn't really paying enough attention. Best mobile game. Destiny Rising, Persona 5 The Phantom X, Sonic Rumble, Uma Musume Pretty Derby, and Wuthering Waves. The only one I've played is Uma Musume. It's fine. Not my favourite gacha. But, of all of them, it's the only one I've played, and probably would still be the one I enjoyed the most, so I'm going to go with that. Best debut indie game. This one's a bit awkward. Blueprints, Clair Obscur Expedition 33, Despelote, Dispatch, and Megabonk. Now, just before I started recording this, I saw a tweet from the Megabonk guy saying that he's removing himself from this. I think it's he. They were removing themselves from this because this isn't their debut. They've made games before, just under different names. So, I wouldn't have voted for it because I've not played it anyway. But at the same time, not worth voting for, I guess. Even if the game is supposed to be really good. Despelote I've not played. Dispatch I've not played. Blueprints I've not played. Clair Obscur, yeah, I guess so. I don't like it when I'm voting for things just because it's the only thing I've played. But at the same time, it's also it's a really good game, so I feel like it deserves it, but at the same time, it is the only option I've got. Best independent game. Absolum, Ball Cross Pit, Ball X Pit, Balks Pit, Blueprints, Clair Obscur Expedition 33, Hades 2, Hollow Knight Silksong. Now, this title is Best Independent Game. And 1, 2, 3, 4 of them have publishers. So it's really only a choice between Hades 2 and Hollow Knight Silksong. Like, at least in my opinion. I mean, I'm not saying that you can't have a publisher as an independent game, because, like, obviously some people do. But I feel like you're not truly independent if you've got a publisher, are you? Like, you're an independent company, yes, but giving you an award for an indie game when you've got a publisher backing you doesn't feel right to me. So, Hades 2 or Silksong, the only one I've played is Silksong. I'm also not particularly interested in Hades 2 because I don't particularly like Hades 1. So, despite the fact that I think Clair Obscur is the better game, I am going to go with Silksong for once. Because I do think it's good, I just don't enjoy it. It may be the only time I vote for it in this entire thing, unless is it up for an art award? We'll find out. Best community support always goes to 14 for me. Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, Helldivers 2, and No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky has really good support, obviously, because they're still doing updates on it. Helldivers 2, I've just finished downloading an update for that. Fortnite, I've never played Fortnite, still. Baldur's Gate 3, I think it got its last update this year, didn't it? And 14's 14, so I'm always going to say it's 14. At the very least, I will say, to my knowledge, they all do have great community support, but 14's my favourite. Best ongoing is probably going to 14 again. Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, Helldivers 2, Marvel Rivals, and No Man's Sky. Yep, it's the only one I still play. I have at least played all but Fortnite from this category, and the only one I still play is 14, so 14. Games for Impact. Consume Me, Despalote, Lost Records, Bloom and Rage, South of Midnight, and Wanderstop. Ooh. I've not played any of these, but I'm interested in at least 2 of them, and possibly more. I'm usually actually interested in all of these games. Usually when they have the Games for Impact thing, it actually ends up being something that I end up tracking down myself and trying later on. I saw good things about South of Midnight, but I think I'm going to go with Wanderstop. Despite all the stuff that happened with them recently, I still generally trust Annapurna as a publisher to publish things that I particularly am interested in. So, hopefully that's good. We'll go with that. Innovation in accessibility. Assassin's Creed Shadows, Atomfall, Doom the Dark Ages, EA Sports FC 26, and South of Midnight. I am unfamiliar with any of these except for Assassin's Creed Shadows, and a lot of people dislike Ubisoft for various good reasons, but at the very least they do have usually pretty extensive accessibility options, so we'll go with that. Best Performance. Ben Starr, Charlie Cox, Erika Ishii, Jennifer English, Konatsu Kato? I don't know. And Troy Baker. Now, I don't know. Charlie Cox is very good as Gustav, but he's not in it for very long, is he? Spoilers. Ben Starr's always great. I don't know if I like her performance as Atsu. I don't think it's bad. I just don't think it's as good as either Verso or Mael. Jennifer English did play Mael, didn't she? Gonna have to double check just to make sure, but I'm almost certain because I'll give it to her. Yeah, Jennifer English. Thanks for following me on TikTok, Mike Duck. Just in case you heard my phone go off. Best Audio Design. Battlefield 6, Clair Obscur, Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yotei, Silent Hill F. I've not played Battlefield 6, but they usually do well on the guns, but I just don't particularly care. Death Stranding 2. I don't want to give it to that, purely because... Actually, this answers the question for me. I don't want to give it to Death Stranding 2, because the sounds that I remember from it are in the first game as well anyway. And then same with Ghost of Yotei. Like, the immediate thing that comes to mind with Death Stranding is, like, the codec sounds, basically. And the first thing that comes to mind for Ghost of Yotei is the fox noises. But again, they're both not necessarily from, they probably remade them or whatever, but they're both in their original titles. So they had things to work off from there. Silent Hill F, I don't remember. And then Clair Obscur is the answer that where I've got, like, examples I can call to mind. And I don't remember from anywhere else. So, Clair Obscur again. More server errors. Best art direction. Right, this is more subjective. Hades 2 looks good. Ghost of Yotei. I've spoken about this before, I actually don't particularly like how Ghost of Yotei looks. Or rather, I don't like the emphasis on how it looks, because I feel like it detracts from the gameplay. It's very nice, but there's explicit choices they have made to emphasize the art, which I think come at the detriment to the game. Death Stranding 2... It doesn't have a bit as memorable to me as the Sky Whale from the first game. The giant crab's pretty cool. I never did the secret bosses, so they might be better. I think it's between Clair Obscur and Hollow Knight for me. I'm leaning towards Clair Obscur again. For much the same... Yeah, no, it's Clair Obscur, because those scenes... Mael's Nightmares, where they go black and white, are, like, so cool. Best narrative. Clair Obscur Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, Ghost of Yotei, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and Silent Hill F. I finished 3 of them, so it's between Clair Obscur, Death Stranding, and Ghost of Yotei. I personally think that the narrative in Death Stranding 1 is better than 2. I like 2. I just found it way more predictable, actually. Ghost of Yotei. I like it. I feel weird about Ghost of Yotei because I actually quite like the game. I think the biggest issue it's got is its marketing, which set up some terrible expectations. And I think it would function better as a game if it was entirely linear. So... Clair Obscur again. Best game direction. Clair Obscur Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, Ghost of Yotei, Hades 2, Split Fiction, not played Split Fiction, not played Hades 2. Right, so I'm just going to mention right now, I don't like a lot of these categories, because they're basically just the same category over and over again with a slightly different name. And I end up just voting the same way every single time. Because, guess what? I'm going to vote for Clair Obscur again. For basically the same reason I've given you every other time I've answered a very similar question in the last 10 minutes. 25 minutes, fucking hell. Let's go back and check all these ones where it's broken. Oh, wonderful. Right. Right. Content Creator of the Year. Cadril? Kaisenat. Oh, Critical's there. Weird. Sakura Miko. And the Burnt Peanut. That's fucking terrifying. The only one of these I watch is Critical. Part of me only still watches him just because I used to watch him so long ago. Every now and then, he does like a good video, and a lot of the time it's just him sat talking about stuff, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, literally see what I'm doing right now. But I like Critical the best of all of those. Best multiplayer. Arc Raiders, Battlefield 6, Elden Ring Night Rain, Peak, and Split Fiction. I have played none of these. The only one that interests me... Well, no, that's not true. Peak and Split Fiction both interest me, but I feel like... It's going to sound weird, but in my head, I don't see Split Fiction as a multiplayer game, even though it requires 2 players. Because in my head, I'm like, it's a single player game with 2 people. I know that doesn't make sense, but it's just not what I would classify as a multiplayer game in my head. Like, because it's got this whole like narrative structure to it, it doesn't fit the same way. So I'm going to go with Peak. It's the only one of them I would actually be interested in playing. I mean, I'm somewhat interested in Split Fiction, but not in the same way. Like, if I wanted a story, I'd play Split Fiction, whereas if I wanted a multiplayer game, I'd play Peak. Best fighting game, I assume. Twoxco, I know it's 2XKO, which is not a good name. Capcom Fighting Collection 2, Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, and Virtua Fighter 5. Do you say Revo, or is that REVO? World Stage. Tempted to give it to Virtua Fighter 5, just because it's Ryuga Gotoku. Yeah, I'm going to do that because I have no preference otherwise. Oh, love this. Still more server errors. Best music and score. Sorry, best score and music. Silksong, Hades 2, Clair Obscur, Ghost of Yotei, Death Stranding 2. This one's rough, because they're all pretty good. Except Hades. I don't mean Hades is bad, I just haven't heard it. I think this is... Oh, I'm really tempted to give it to Death Stranding 2. My issue is that I've mentioned this repeatedly, but it's just the first game again. And it's not that's bad. But it's exactly what I was expecting. It did nothing to surprise me. And that's like the only issue I've got with it. This is actually probably the one I'm going to have the hardest time with. So while we're thinking, I'm going to go back, because for some reason, the Best Action tab will not load. This is my 4th attempt at loading Best Action as a category. I really don't know. I might give it to Death Stranding 2 just because it's the only thing I've not voted for yet, I don't think. But it doesn't have any of the same highs as the first game to me. It's not terrible. I mean, like I say, it's really good. But no, I've got to give it to Clair Obscur, because it is just better. Oh my god, please just load the fucking thing. What if I just try and open it in like 15 tabs? Oh, it opened in one of them. It opened in one. Oh, it opened in 2. Right. Best action game. Battlefield 6, Doom the Dark Ages, Hades 2, Ninja Gaiden 4, and Shinobi Art of Vengeance. This was not worth opening. I will give it to Hades 2. I don't care about any of these particularly. All that time for the quickest one because I don't care. Game of the Year. Clair Obscur Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Hades 2, Hollow Knight Silksong, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I think this is a pretty rough year. Not in terms of releases, obviously, it's had good releases, but more just like, I think it's hard to choose. Because a decent part of me, not personally, but what I mean is, I don't think it should, but I have a suspicion that Silksong will win. Just because of what it is. I think most other years Death Stranding 2 would win, even if I don't actually think it's the best of the games here. And I already know what I'm going to vote for, but there are other games that have come out this year that I like more than any of these anyway. Like, can't be Kingdom Come, obviously, can't be Hades 2, and can't be Donkey Kong Bonanza because I've not played any of those. I don't enjoy Silksong. Death Stranding 2 is good, but is basically the game that I already expected it to be, and Clair Obscur is great. So, yeah, again, Clair Obscur. I do feel weird having voted for Clair Obscur for the vast majority of categories, but at the same time, I don't really think there was a lot of choice. Like, it's a really good game, and I think it's not up against the strongest competition. Like, in my opinion, like, there is no real competition for it. Every other game is good or great, but just not as good or great as this. I understand other people feel very differently about Silksong, but with Death Stranding, I've mentioned this to other people before, I do not feel like it had the cultural impact that the first one did. Either before or after. I do not think people were talking about it anywhere near as much leading up to it, and I also don't think people have talked about it as much since either. I think it's very good. I feel like it almost deserves better in itself. What I mean by that is, I don't think it's a bad game, but I think it deserves a better reception in itself. But it doesn't get it because I'm not... Like, the first game is like this genre-defining game, and this is just a good game in that genre. Whereas Clair Obscur is just one of the best games of the year. Like, personally, the choice isn't between Clair Obscur and any of these titles. So, Clair Obscur it is. So yeah, this is going to be a mess to edit. I'm going to mangle it up a bit. I'll probably reorder it. So, I'll try and keep it so that the things I say make sense. But I am going to shuffle things around a little bit in the edit. But, yeah. Things didn't go great for me this week, so I've not got time to make anything better. I'll explain more next week. But, yeah, so this is what I think is going to win. Or rather, what I would hope would win. Thanks for watching.
Special thanks to my patrons, Justin Wood, Hobbs and Koopy Vegeta. You can join my patrons at patreon.com/Holden Gatsby, check out my TikTok and Twitter at Holden Gatsby, and follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Holden Gatsby. Don't forget to subscribe to all of my channels. If you want more, you can watch my last video now, but if not, then thanks for sticking around. Bye.